We're here with Julian Chua at the Brick House Boxing Club in North Hollywood, California. Julian, you just wrapped up an intense training session with WBC 140-pound champion Regis Prograis. You guys are in the thick of training camp right now, a couple weeks away from the fight. How has this camp been for you guys? Is it your first real camp with Regis Prograis?
It's been great, man. He's a very hard worker. We train twice a day. And he's as hungry as ever, you know, and he's receptive to the things, you know, he's learning. We're studying film, not only on Devin, but like other fighters that, you know, apply the things we need to do tactically, and he's understanding it and getting it. So he is already now, but he'll be even more fully prepared come December 9th.
You guys worked for the first time for a very brief stretch in the Zerillo camp, which, you know, he got a good experience, and he wanted to make sure he spent a full camp with you, with Bobby Benton, of course, by his side as well too. How has that been, working with Bobby Benton as a co-trainer as well too?
It's great. It's great. You know, like the biggest thing is like we care about Regis. We don't care about anything else. You know, so you know and we're on agreements on everything that he needs to do, and I love working with him. I think it you know, sometimes there's two ways to look at it, like two chefs in the kitchen, or like two sets of eyes are better than one, and that all comes down, in my opinion, to like the egos of the trainers and their motivation for themselves. But that's not the case with us. We care, so we care about Regis. So it's been working. It's been a very cohesive partnership. And when in regards to the Zerillo fight, sometimes, you know, you won't take many lessons to heart until something like the Zerillo fight happens. And thank God we came out with the victory. But it was enough. It was enough of a bad performance to really lock in on some of the things that, in my opinion, I know that I've been saying for years. You know, and now at least in sparring, he's seeing the effects of some of the tactical things we've been doing differently. So yeah, I'm just excited to see him do it in a real fight.
What's been the biggest realization you found from Regis in this camp? Something that you kind of discovered throughout camp working with him? Something that from his skills to his training, his motivation, anything that was really kind of an eye-opening thing for work, because you've worked with so many world champions.
Yeah.
So what's been like one unique thing that you've learned from Regis working with him this camp?
I think it's just that he always wants to do more. Like, he wants to do more rounds. He wants to do more. And sometimes he's the kind of guy you gotta like be like, hey man, let's say something for the fight, you know? Like, even though it's not like anything bad's happened or anything like that, but he's just you know, he works very hard. And you know, I mean, it's not so much that I've come to a realization of anything. It's more of like, I understand, have worked with so many champions. I understand why he's where he's at. You know, he does things like them, like the ones who have made it to the stage that he's at. So, you know, I think that's the best thing that's a thing I could say, is that he's exactly what you would expect from a champion.
And you know, he's going to be tested tough. You know, yeah. Devin Haney, you know, odds makers have Regis as the underdog in this one. Why are you guys confident that you guys are going to come away with this win?
I think the biggest thing is we just all believe in him. You know, I understand. I'm not. You know, I understand the kind of boxer that Devin is. I understand his skills. You know, and I could see why people think that way. You know, but I could see why. I could see Regis doing exactly what he needs to do and knocking Devin out. You know, so I think for us, it's just full belief in our man. You know, and you know, the guy's been through everything, and this is not anything new. You know.
Regis is predicting a stoppage win. How do you see this fight unfolding from your point of view?
I agree. I see it being a stoppage because no matter what, I don't think he's gonna win a decision. I've watched the Lomachenko fight many times, and I mean, like, look, I'm not like have no involvement with Loma or Devin, like on a personal level, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, Loma won that fight. And I can't see it any other way, as many times as I've watched it to study for this fight. And I know that Regis is different than Loma, right? Like on a lot of fronts. But speaking on just their fight alone, I thought Loma won. Even the fight with Jojo Diaz was a lot closer than a lot of people thought. If you watch that fight back, Jojo did a lot of great things in that fight. So, and both of these guys, southpaws, a little awkward, a little unconventional, but neither of them have the power that Regis has. You know what I'm saying? So, I could see Devin fighting for his life because, contrary to a lot of other people's belief, I don't believe he's a punk. I don't think he's some kid that's just gonna back down when things get hard. But I do eventually see him trying to stand his ground and doing whatever he can to get Regis off and getting stopped in the late rounds.
Gotcha. So I feel like Regis could really bring another dimension of Devin, probably we haven't even seen before, because of Regis's rough and rugged style. I think Loma did a good job in the second half of that fight, making things uncomfortable for Devin, and I think Devin kind of was game to bounce back and say, hey, you want to fight this way? Let's fight this way.
Even more so than that, when Linares rocked him, he came out the next round like nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
So again, history shows that he is not someone who just lays down when he's hurt. You know what I'm saying? He's a tough kid. So I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to see him fight in person, like from a boxing perspective. I'm excited to see Regis fight in person from just like almost like a fan perspective. But I love boxing. That's why like I'm in this. But at the end of the day, I'm even though I love it and I'm gonna enjoy it as a fight fan, I'm gonna be completely locked in as a coach to get the job done. And December 9th, Regis is gonna get the job done.
What's one of the big things you've been drilling with Regis in this camp? Something that you've been working on and have seen him do well in, and you feel like the fans might really see this come fight night?
I would just say positioning. That's it. We're working a lot on positioning. You know, I can't say too much, you know, like on that, but that would probably be like my favorite thing that he's been doing very well on this. And like I know Devin's good at like stepping over aggressively. They kept calling for that when Loma makes this step over aggressively, so Loma goes on the defensive, so Devin is able to get his escape, right? Because if someone is not locked up defensively, it's hard to step around him. That's why he was trying to hit him with something good and step around him so he can get out the side door. We are going to be prepared for that. You know, we've been drilling to prepare for that. So, so yeah. Sorry to ramble a little bit, but positioning, I would.
Yeah,
say.
I mean ring generalship. That's very.
Exactly.
It's important in every fight. Cutting off the ring, and someone who's at the peak of his power is someone like Devin Haney, who does that just as well as anybody in his weight class. You know, that's something that he's going to have to overcome Regis as well,
exactly.
too. You know,
he has to be able to stay calm and present,
mm-hmm.
so he can cut the ring off. You know, a lot of times in the heat of the fight, you'll forget these things. You know, especially if cutting the ring off doesn't come naturally. You know, that's why we've been spending a lot of rounds working on positioning.
We also have to give Devin Haney credit, right? He's coming up from 135 to 140 and facing Regis right off the get-go. A lot of fighters, they take a tune-up, they take a feel-out fight. Let me see if I'm comfortable at this weight. Regis Haney's going straight to the top.
Right.
I think he has to be commended for that. What is your take on Regis fighting a 135-pound fighter who's coming up?
That's right. You know, and Loma's been hurt by guys who, or not Loma, Devin has been hurt by guys that aren't punchers necessarily. They're sharp punchers, like Linares is a sharp puncher, but I don't think I would call him like a knockout artist like Regis is. And so for him to come up and fight, you know, I like, look, I don't need to have no respect for him, right? Regis is the one that needs to have no respect for him. I don't need to have no respect for him. At the moment, he's my enemy, like on the opposite line, but I've no doubt cheered for him as like from before this fight, you know. I don't have a personal grudge against him, you know, like I don't have nothing to say, you know, other than like, yeah, he's a great fighter. I can't wait, and credit to him, he's fighting an absolute monster at 140, so
Yeah,
What can you say?
It's been a respectful promotion between the fighters. I know, the camps have had
I don't think he hasn't been respectful toward Regis, really.
back and forth. Well, I was speaking mainly for like the press conference. Back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's been some stuff here and there, but I think when the cameras are on, it's a little bit different. You can see some of that respect. I know there was a behind the scenes moment as well too, when they were doing a face off.
Yeah.
Perhaps they haven't been in the same room with each other overall in recent weeks as well too. But I feel like after the fight, they're going to be respectful again of each other. Just knowing both guys' demeanor, knowing the kind.
Maybe when Regis knocks him out, maybe not. I think when Regis knocks him out, I don't think so. I think he's gonna be really like, the only thing I have to say, there was a little pettiness on the and I understand Devin too. The whole world was saying that Loma got robbed, but he posted him crying in the back. I mean, man, this guy arguably won this fight. He's been fucked by boxing so many times. The Orlando Salido fight. Honestly, you watch it back over, that could have gone either way. Teofimo fight, he didn't really lose to Teofimo. He kind of lost to himself a bit. He just took too long to get going. He's had arguable decisions, and I mean, look, everyone has dreams. And to feel like you really won the fight, for the world to feel like you won the fight, and you feel like it just got crushed, and your dreams got crushed again. If you don't cry after that, and you don't have the emotion, then you didn't care that much. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he kind of sat on that, and stopped, and I understand it's not Devin's fault. There's 3 judges. Mm-hmm. It's nothing on Devin, but I think he just felt the weight of the world talking about him, and he felt like he needed to fire back, But I basically, the whole reason I'm saying it, I didn't really like that he did that, but who am I? Doesn't matter.
You're almost 3 weeks away from December 9. Training camp, you're in the thick of it right now. But for fans wondering back at home, what is the final couple weeks of camp like as you head into fight week, as you travel up to San Francisco? What's the next couple weeks going to look like for camp here at the Brick House Boxing Club?
It's going to be, the next couple weeks are going to be constant reminder of the game plan. Keeping his reflexes while he's losing the weight, keep his reflexes sharp, keep his timing sharp, and keep his spirit high, which it's impossible to break his spirit, but those are the final moments of our training camp before we go out. I mean, that's for any fighter, any professional fighter. Keep the damage at a minimum, by damage I mean keep his body reserved. Right, a lot of people go way too hard in the last weeks, trying to almost do a last minute, but it's better you go, for any fight fan who's maybe kids or whatever watching, if someone's killing you in the last week of fight, before the fight, training, you should probably leave that guy, because you need to make sure your body's at 100%. What matters is the fight.
There you have it. Julian Chua, world-class boxing coach, worked with the likes of Stephen Fulton, Gilberto Ramirez, Scrappy Ramirez, Azat Hovhannisyan. The list goes on and on. Julian, thank you for the time.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.